I have Dollop tour dates to announce for the year 2024 of our Lord J-Town. We have our 10th anniversary show coming up in Los Angeles on April 27th. Guests are Karen Kilgariff and James Adomian. And then we are going to Australia, starting on May 13th in Perth, May 16th in Sydney, May 18th in Brisbane, May 20th in Canberra, May 22nd in Melbourne, and May 24th in Adelaide. You can get your tickets at dolloppodcast.com.
With a selection unlike your traditional liquor store, Winter Wine and Spirits has been the community staple for the best wine, spirits, and craft beer options in Westminster, with weekly specials and friendly, knowledgeable staff. Save 30% off your first pickup or delivery when you order directly online. Free in-store tastings Friday and Saturday. Visit winterwineandspirits.com to check out the deals and selection, or stop in at 9120 Wadsworth Parkway in Westminster. Winter Wine and Spirits, Westminster's go-to wine and spirits wonderland.
Hello, you're listening to The Dollop. This is a bi-weekly podcast. Each week, I read a story to my friend.
Gareth Reynolds has no idea what the topic is going to be about. Hey-o.
Fast, slow it down.
Huh?
Just slow it down.
Nah, time is money, baby.
Put a little feeling into it.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
Okay. God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny?
Not Gary Gareth. Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend. October 29th, 1831.
You don't need to shout at me.
Othniel.
Excuse me?
It looks like Othnniel. Othniel? Othniel? Othniel.
Gee, dude, this is the weirdest word we've had this early on the Dollop. I
It's a
don't know.
name. It's a first name.
Is it somebody trying to say oatmeal with a lisp?
Well, man, I can tell you right now, this guy changes his name to O.C. because he hates people trying to pronounce his name.
Okay, so can we hear what we think it is
I'm
one
going
more
to
time?
go with Othniel.
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 I mean, it looks like Neil.
Othniel.
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 Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. All right,
I should say that this is the number one requested Dollop.
Oh, shit. People love oatmeal.
And thanks to Gareth Douse for helping write it up. Did all the work. Heavy work.
See? Gareth's are great.
Othniel Marsh was born in Lockport, New York. The son of a struggling farmer, Marsh's mother died when he was 3 years old. And his father just wanted him to become a field hand on the family farm.
Okay.
So he's got
Aim low.
high expectations.
Aim low, son.
You know what? You're be good at cleaning buckets of shit from the pig slop.
Father, I see myself doing so much more.
I don't. Pig slop, picker-upper.
I mean, the grammar.
You'll do what I did, and that's pick up pig slop.
You're not even drunk.
I know, but I have a brain disease.
Father.
But Marsh was into science from a young age, and he was lucky to also be the nephew of a wealthy banker.
Well, see? Get in on
Due
it.
to this connection, Marsh went to Phillips Academy and then Yale and became one of the university-trained paleontologists in America, one of the few,
Okay.
in the late 1860s.
Okay.
He then went and studied as a graduate student at 3 of Germany's greatest universities during the Civil War.
Okay.
Also, that sounds like someone is avoiding the draft.
Yeah.
Edward Drinker Cope.
Edward Drinker Cope? What?
Edward
Drinker Cope?
Drinker Cope.
Are those two names at the end?
Well, I mean, Drinker's his middle name.
Drinker is his middle name.
They had very low
After your Uncle Drinker.
Not after your Uncle Sloppy. After your Uncle Drinker. No, not the Lush. Not Johnny Lush Cope. You're just going to be the Drinker.
Drinker.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Edward Drinker Cope.
It's the 1840s. Who knows?
Sure, yeah. And then there's Benny eating sandwiches.
Edward Drinker Cope was born in 1840 into a rich Philadelphia Quaker family, and he also loved science as a kid.
Okay.
He took classes at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. He grew up among naturalists and scientists and was schooled in the Enlightenment style of genteel amateurism.
Pornography.
That is correct.
But, okay, so far these are people who are avoiding religion and going with science.
Well, genteel amateurism was the idea that educated men wrote or practiced science for their own pleasure and for the entertainment of others, not because he needed to make a living.
Right.
So they're well off. And they're
It's
this
like,
is a hobby. You don't do science for a living, sir. You do it as like a, hello, this is what I have at the party.
Yeah, for passion. It's kind of like what you do, like if you're if you're Rod Stewart's kid.
Right.
You're like, he's a director, but he's just like directing dumb shit that he's put his own money into.
Yeah, so this is every Hollywood kid.
Right, okay.
Cope drew sketches of dinosaurs when he was 9 years old and developed a passion for biology at a young age. He yearned to understand.
Just like me.
That we all did, didn't we?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know. You're not asking. My God.
I'm pointing at the frog.
I'm
asking you how it works.
You put a nickel in it?
Now I'm pointing at this.
I'm not putting anything.
He yearned to understand the natural world, but didn't have a PhD because American colleges didn't give them out. Also, American amateurism.
Okay.
Genteel amateurism. Oh, I got that
Gentile
completely
amateurism.
wrong. So he went to Europe's great universities on his family's dime, being sent there to avoid the Civil War draft, just like Marsh.
Cool.
While there, Cope and Marsh met briefly in Berlin in 1863, when they were both studying. Marsh was 32 and had 2 university degrees. Cope was a bit different. No degrees. Cope was an amateur gentleman scientist, while Marsh was a methodical academic. Marsh was a bald and bearded Darwinist. Cope was a handsome, with a shock of blonde hair, gentleman and didn't believe in natural selection.
Okay. Interesting.
They seem to have liked each other upon first meeting. Marsh took Cope on a tour of Berlin, and they hung out for days. When Cope left, they continued to write each other and exchange writings and fossils and photographs.
Okay, so they were kind of cool pen pals.
That was a good dollop, right?
Well, something tells me these two are going to end up a little more like
more sentences.
Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah, I'm going to read a couple more. Cope returned to the U.S. after the war and became a member of Philadelphia's Academy of Natural Sciences. There he found a mentor named Joseph Leidy, a professor of anatomy at the University of Pennsylvania and leader of the Philadelphia Academy of Natural Sciences.
Okay.
So that guy's
a smarty
the
pants.
shiznit.
Yeah.
Yes, total smarty pants.
Nerd.
Nerd.
A total nerd.
Leidy had found America's first dinosaur in Haddonfield, New Jersey in 1858.
He found the first dinosaur?
He found the first dinosaur that was in the ground.
Wow.
It's not alive. It's a...
Oh, well, that's not as cool.
He found the bones.
I was going to say, who wants to be that guy to find the first
Well, in 1850... in 1858, there weren't dinosaurs anymore.
Wait, how come?
They were gone.
Why
they
come?
Were gone. They were gone.
Why come? Why come they no here no more?
They were gone!
Where do they go now? Uber?
I don't want to be a person anymore.
Huh?
The dinosaur fossil was 26 feet long, 14-foot tall beast named Hadrosaurus.
How great would it be around for the first time people are putting together dinosaur bones?
Oh my God! It just keeps going.
And just
I thought it was a cat.
What they thought it was. They're just like, it's like a question mark kind of shape, I think.
It keeps going though.
Yeah.
These aren't around, right?
My God, this man was huge.
This is a big fella.
This fella was huge. Look at the size of this man's tail.
Cope then made the second big dinosaur discovery in America in 1866 in the exact same fossil pit. It was
That's not much of a discovery.
Well, you keep digging or looking around
digging.
close to. You probably look close to it.
He kept digging.
Found it over there, over the hill.
He
whatever.
kept digging.
It's not like it's in the exact same hole.
Sounds like he just kept digging.
It was a 22-foot, two-legged meat eater with eagle-like talons and large claws. Cope called it Lelops aquilinguis.
Something tells me we're going to tweak that.
I believe that is probably Latin, and it means eagle-clawed terrible leaper.
So it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, well, it's an eagle-clawed terrible leaper. I don't know if it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or else they would call it Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it's an eagle-clawed terrible leaper.
I mean, a literalist he was.
Today it is known as Drysaurus.
Oh, Drysaurus. That was the dinosaur who always wanted water.
Dripsaurus. Draped.
Does anyone have water? I'm a Drysaurus.
There's going to be a lot of Latin in this one. It's not going to go well for anybody.
Oh, well, if anyone could direct me to a swamp, I'm a Drysaurus. If anyone has lotion or... it's so hot.
No, those are tar pits!
Oh, God. Oh, it's drying me out further. I'm so dry.
Marsh came back to the U.S. and was appointed the first professor of paleontology in America at Yale. It was no coincidence that Marsh was made a professor after his uncle paid to create Yale's Museum of Natural History.
But at least things are the same at Yale.
It's just...
That's how it works, though, right? Daddy buys a wing, and then you're fucking,
I know.
Yeah.
It's just... Marsh meticulously collected fossils with which he wanted to prove Darwin's theory of evolution. He had no family, and he had few friends. The friends he did have called him the Great Dismal Swamp.
It's not a very fun nickname for a man.
Let's face it, that's the worst nickname any man has ever had.
Hey, GDS!
What?
GDS!
What's that for?
You're the GDS!
Yeah, but what does it stand
You're a Great Dismal Swamp.
What?
Have Daddy buy you a new nickname, asshole. Let's go, guys.
Oh, my God. Did you guys just get in a Mustang and drive away?
Yeah.
They're not invented.
That's right. We're going surfing.
When they returned, Cope and Marsh continued their common interest relationship. Cope even named an amphibian fossil after Marsh.
I feel like they're a little flirty.
Tionius marshy.
Tionius marshy.
A year later...
Wasn't that a jazz musician?
Yeah, really good one.
Okay.
A year later, Marsh found what he called a new and gigantic serpent from the Tertiary and named it after Cope. Mosasaurus copianus.
Cool.
Or, if you broke it down, Cope-anus.
So which...
You decide.
Well, Cope-anus is what you get in jail.
I mean, if you're in the right jail.
No.
I mean, if you pay for a little something.
No, what?
Pay for the extra sweet.
No, you don't have to pay for it in jail.
Yeah, I want to get the nice.
I don't think you have any idea how the
nice
penal system works.
I do, and I paid $14 extra on Orbitz to get the business.
This guy thinks he's in an Airbnb. That's the best.
Marsh came to Philadelphia in 1868 to visit and see Cope and Leidy's work.
Okay.
By this time, Cope had published 37 scientific papers, even though he didn't have a degree. It's part of the whole genteel amateurism thing.
Yeah, right.
At the same time, Marsh...
He doesn't seem so genteel anymore.
At the same time, Marsh, who had 2 degrees, had only published 2 papers.
But man, were they bangers.
Oh, fucking...
Those 2?
Out of the park! At this time, academic prowess was measured by the number of papers you wrote. So scores 37-2, if you're counting.
Yeah, but it's not a pie-eating contest. It should be the substance
It kind of is a
papers.
pie-eating contest.
So it really is just a numbers game.
While in Philadelphia, Marsh asked Cope to give him a tour of the fossil bed in Haddonfield, where Cope and Leidy had found their fossils.
Have you ever had a girl ask to give you a tour of her fossil bed?
Fuck yeah.
You know what she's saying.
Oh, my God.
You know what she's
some
saying.
Vertebrae.
Wait.
Cope did happily, and he introduced Marsh to people who worked there. Back then, paleontologists did not actually get their hands dirty. They just hired people to dig for them and find the fossils. So they would be like, I want you to dig there. And the guy would dig there, and you'd stand there with your fan and a hat.
When you're talking about ancient bones, do you really want to outsource that to like a day laborer?
Well, that's just how it worked.
No, my God, the skull!
And then
We found it.
After the fossils were found, they would buy the fossils from the guy.
Oh, so they wouldn't even be there?
Not necessarily, no.
It'd just be like, come back with bones?
They would be like, yeah, sometimes they would just say, just give me some bones, and then I'll write about them. Or they would say, hey, dig here.
Dig here and bring me the bones.
Then they wrote papers about the new finds. So get the bones, write the papers.
Sure.
So Marsh, they're really not.
Yeah. I'm not that impressed.
Right. So Marsh was very impressed with the quarry in Haddonfield. So impressed that he went ahead and paid off the quarry owner and had all future excavated bones sent to him at Yale instead of to Cope in Philadelphia.
Wow, okay. So he's... now that maybe there's a little competition brewing.
Just seems like one guy might be an asshole. Hey, check this out, man. This is our pit where we get all of our dinosaur bones from.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
All right, go to the bathroom. Hey, whatever comes out of here, give to me.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Great, see you later.
Cope was furious. And,
Why?
And accused Marsh of poaching his fossils. Cope's supply of fossils dried up. Cope would later say this act was the end of their friendship.
Yeah.
If you can imagine.
But yeah, of course it is.
It's only it's just like a prank.
I don't know. I mean, he fucked my wife, and that was kind of where the divide happened.
And then things went from bad to worse. Cope rushed publishing findings on a new species of pliosaur that had been found by an army surgeon in Kansas and shipped to him. Cope called the giant extinct aquatic reptile elasmosaurus. He quickly reconstructed the skeleton and published his work, thinking it would shoot him up to the top of his field. Marsh came to the Academy of Natural Sciences to check out the reconstruction.
Something tells me he rushed the puzzle.
Marsh quickly realized something was wrong.
Oh, boy. This thing wasn't even aquatic, was it?
Cope had put the skull on the wrong end, so it was on the tail.
Oh, shit. So he's like, look at the tail. It's huge. Print the paper.
He put the fucking head on the butt end.
Yeah, so what?
Marsh pointed it out for everyone, and then Leedy confirmed the error. Cope was mortified and published a correction. He then desperately tried to buy back copies of the American Philosophical Society journal in which he had published his findings.
It was what we now call deleting a tweet.
Meanwhile, Marsh did everything he could to ensure that copies of the journal were still available.
Oh, that's the best. Oh, my God.
Marsh went even further, writing that Cope should have named the elasmosaurus the Septosaurus or twisted reptile.
Well, now he's just being rude.
Now he's just a fucking asshole,
Yeah.
right? Whatever was left of their friendship was now completely gone. Marsh later wrote of the situation, quote, "When I informed Professor Cope of it, his wounded vanity received a shock from which it has never recovered, and he has since been my bitter enemy."
Wow.
Yeah, well, he was right. You could have just walked in and said, the head's on the wrong part to him. Public shaming was not cool in the 1860s either.
It wasn't?
And things were just getting started. In 1870, Marsh led the expedition to what were known as the Bone Fields of Kansas. The Bone Fields were now accessible because of the new railroads into the West. But it was dangerous country due to the natives not enjoying all of the settlements and whatnot.
So they're still kind of being assholes.
The Indians?
Yeah.
Yeah, the American Indians are still like, hey, we live here. This is our place where it's our land.
I swear to God. It's
this
like,
is kind of our... Where
how
we've
many
been living
times
for
do you have to not really apologize?
hundreds of years we've been living here doing our thing.
Like, how many times do we have to kind of not say we're sorry until this is okay?
I don't know what's happening. Like, I live here.
Yeah, I get it, okay? Now get the fuck off.
Okay, wait.
Fuck off.
That's where the weird part.
Show the guns.
Okay.
Fuck off.
Are those blankets?
Ooh. You guys like blankets?
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. You want a small
What?
small blanket?
What?
Do you want a small blanket?
Yes.
Pox?
At this time, the American Indians that were most upset were the Sioux. So they're basically at war with the Sioux, the Americans, Americanites.
Watch out for a lawsuit. Go ahead.
When they first set out, they made their way through Nebraska, escorted by cavalry and using guides from other Indian tribes. And there were celebrities. Buffalo Bill accompanied them on the first night.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens when you cruise into a new town.
Whatever. You're going to see some people.
Mm-hmm. It was tough going. They marched over burning sandhills with no rocks or trees or any sign of water. The water they did find was undrinkable.
Cool.
They were saved by rainfall and drank water from the brim of each other's hats.
They could just drink from their own hat. Oh, no, they had to wear it in order to...
Yeah,
I mean,
think,
boy, talk about a Brokeback Mountain montage. Can I drink water from your hat?
You know what? If you cup your breasts right there, I can drink out of that. Right.
How about if I just drink a little water out of your mouth?
Lay down.
Wait a minute.
Face down. I'm going to drink out of your bottom.
Okay, wait.
They finally reached their destination. At first, their Native American guides attempted to stop Marsh from digging up the bones. They believed petrified bones were the remains of an extinct race of giants.
They're right.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah.
No, people. They thought we were giant people.
Look, you didn't specify.
Finally, Marsh dug up a jawbone and held it up to one of the Native Americans' horses.
This is his tail.
Look, like your horse.
Yep, see?
And the Native American was like, "Oh, fuck, right.
Wow, fuck.
Holy shit, I get it.
Our hundreds of years of lore is off.
They're like dogs."
They're big dogs.
After that, the Native Americans were on board and went off and rolled into camp with fossils.
Wow, they really did a 180, huh?
Yeah, it's full 180.
Yeah.
They're sacred giants.
Let's
Hold
sell them.
on, they're big dogs.
They're big dogs.
This one's Clifford.
Oh, my God. We know all this because Marsh was a shameless self-promoter and brought a reporter from Harper's along to write about his difficult journey and the finds he would undoubtedly make.
Yeah.
The reporter also wrote about the Sioux, who made their presence known with campfires that got closer and closer and closer. So while they're digging, they're watching the Sioux
move,
basically saying, "Hey, guys, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Just lighting campfires closer and closer, like, this is a sign for you to go.
I don't know what they're trying to tell us.
Marsh's expedition began to bear fruit. Soon they found tons of bones from the Cretaceous period 100 million years ago. At one point, he discovered the fossil of a giant turtle.
Oh, shit.
Yertle.
Was it maybe a ship?
It was a ship.
That's a callback.
And that's all he cared about. But the other members of his expedition
Wait,
were worried.
he just cared about the turtle?
He just cared about the bones.
Oh, just the bones, okay.
And the other members of his expedition were worried about the rapidly approaching Sioux fires and wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Nah.
Marsh only cared about getting the turtle out of the ground and into his museum in New Haven, which he did get out and onto a horse before they were attacked. Harper's accounts tell of Marsh's hunting abilities. He apparently enjoyed shooting at herds of buffalo and cut the head off of one for a trophy.
Shooting at a herd of buffalo is pretty easy, though.
Yeah, it's super lame.
I mean, that's kind of like fish in a barrel.
You should have to punch them.
Yeah.
You should go down and punch one to death.
Dude.
That's how you should have to hunt buffalo.
That really is how that is like basically how I feel. Like I feel like if you go kill, like if you're in the wild and you go kill an animal with like, bow and arrow and stuff like, that's all right. I like that. Go do that.
But if you're just shooting them with guns.
But if you're just shooting them with guns like nonstop, like I'm a hunter, nothing against. I mean, I think that obviously I'm not against.
You're in a weird place right now.
I'm going to a weird place. Edit this out, please.
At one point, his party also came across a ceremonial funeral platform with the bodies of a Native American man and woman on top.
Let me guess, they peed on it.
Well, they had been dead for some time. The brave had a rusty shotgun and a pack of cards in his hands.
Don't tell me that he's going to fucking take that shit.
No, but I just love that he had a...
Oh, that they've left.
Like the Native Americans for hundreds of years, he had a shotgun and a deck of cards.
Yep.
And a bottle of root beer.
Hey, all right.
While the rest of the party were said to be in awe of the scene in front of them, Marsh said, quote, "Well, boys, perhaps they died of smallpox, but we can't study the origin of the Indian race unless we have those skulls. Cut them down!"
No.
Yeah,
wow, so he's just becoming like a bone freak.
He's like a bone vacuum.
Right.
Yeah, whatever bones he finds, put it in the bag.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, he's like turtle. He'll die for turtle bones.
You're sitting there hanging out with a campfire, and he's staring at you. You're like, no, I'm not.
But yeah, but it's like a cartoon where like you turn into a cartoon ham, but you just become your skeleton.
You're just bones.
Yeah, you're just the bones.
I want what's inside of you. Marsh had staked his claim to the fossil fields of the West and established a fossil trust for Yale. His biggest find was a finger-like bone only seen before in small pterodactyls, but this one was much bigger and turned out to be a pterodactyl with a wingspan of 20 feet.
Shit.
Giant dinosaur bird.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone, Cope wanted to journey to Kansas. but he had difficulty raising funds for the expedition because Academy of Natural History was a gentleman's association, and they did not see any reason to go on expeditions.
Interesting.
They're the genteel.
They're
amateurs.
Right.
I'm sorry. Why would you?
Nah,
Shouldn't you just pay
someone else will go do it.
Yeah, someone to send it to
Someone
you.
will do it for you.
Do you have an address for mailing things?
Hurt your hands.
Okay, that's fine.
Meh.
Cope ended up using his inheritance to fund his expeditions.
Okay.
And
So
off
he's
he
doubling
went.
down.
He's totally doubling down. Off he went into the exact region that Marsh considered to be his private fossil hunting turf.
Well, I can only see this going well, David.
Well, Marsh handled everything so well before
Yeah, no.
when he wasn't on his turf.
Yeah.
Cope made several important discoveries, such as ancient reptiles called plesiosaurs and mosasaurs. Cope took liberties when describing the beast and let his imagination go crazy. He described plesiosaurs as having snake bodies 50 feet long and paddles to propel themselves. He described the 30-foot-long mosasaur as a creature that swam through oceans with long tails. His exciting descriptions came alive on the page and were very much in contrast to Marsh's dry academic writings.
So the cartoon strip was different from the science.
That's kind of what we're saying.
Right.
Cope rushed to publish any findings he made in academic journals. One paleontologist later referred to the practice as academic carpet bombing.
Wow, yeah, seriously.
It's kind of great.
Yeah, but that is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's just fucking whatever.
It doesn't,
Just-
I mean, there's
yeah,
no
there's
no editor.
No, there's nothing. In 1872, Cope made an agreement with the government surveyor to equip his
He's like Judy
expedition.
Blume.
Wow.
Go for it.
Really, Ramona?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Really?
right. Yeah, that's right, bro. Yeah.
What about Beatrice?
What about her?
A2?
Yeah, and fucking the other one.
Socks the cat.
Sure.
In 1872, is she still alive?
She can't, I
She
mean,
could easily be.
prolific.
Prolific. But it's not hard when you're writing that.
I know, but isn't it funny how like your perspective is like I'm sure reading them now I'd be like, what? This is drivel. But like when you're a kid, you're like, my God, another classic. Like she's Stephen King essentially.
In 1872, Cope made an agreement with a government surveyor to equip his expedition to Wyoming.
You're yawning? I'm sorry, am I boring you right now?
A little bit.
Oh, fuck you.
Cope brought his wife and young daughter. Marsh had already been there and found several early mammal species. But when Cope arrived, none of the promised horses or supplies were there. The government surveyor had moved on.
Okay.
Cope scraped together a crew of men, including 2 of Marsh's employees. When Marsh learned of this, he completely lost his shit. Not only was Cope in his territory, he was taking employees. He was filled with dread that Cope might retrieve as many bones as he had found.
Oh shit.
Cope was so concerned, he sent spies to keep track of Cope's progress.
Wow.
Cope was referred to by the code name Jones.
That's not much of a code name. That's like a more common name.
That shows exactly how much creativity
Jones?
that Marsh brought to the
Why
game.
not just call him? Yeah.
He had nothing but the most simple, obvious. What about Johnson? It's either Johnson or Jones or Smith.
Or Epoch. Cope backwards.
And his fear was correct, as Cope discovered 50 species of mammals, fish, and reptiles.
Okay, so he's actually hitting. It's kind of like when you sit at a slot machine and then you get up for a minute and someone pops $1 and then wins big.
No, it sounds like back then bones were just sticking out of the ground.
But still, why was he not cultivating all these bones? That was his thing, right?
Who, Marsh?
You Cope.
Well, Cope was getting them. Cope just went and got a bunch.
But he's missing species.
What do you mean he's missing species?
Aren't we just now hearing Marsh just dig up all these extra?
Oh, well, that's mostly what they were after back then was mammals.
But okay, all right.
Okay, so they're trying to prove something. Marsh is trying to prove Darwin's theory of evolution is correct.
Right.
And Cope was trying to prove a different one, but he was wrong, so I didn't write it down.
Okay, but his was stupid.
Stupider.
Yeah, more stupid.
So Marsh couldn't take it and headed back. So he was already back on the East Coast, so he couldn't take it, and he went back out to the West to go on another expedition.
Okay.
Joseph Leedy was also in the West on his own mission at this point. So now there's 3 dudes trucking around looking for bones.
Okay.
At one point, Cope entered a fossil pit right after Marsh had left it. He found a skull and teeth, which he used to describe a new species. Unfortunately, those bones had been planted by Marsh as a trick.
Whoa, he's fucking throwing fool's gold in there?
Fake bones, bro.
What? Oh my God.
Fool's bones. You know what I'm talking
Fool
about?
bones?
You fucking fell for the fool bones, Jack?
What? So how was he... What were these bones? He just made bones?
I don't know how you make fake bones, number one. And number two,
how do you not know?
Fake bones?
For sure. Yeah.
But his trick would not be discovered for another 20 years.
Oh, so forever. He's like, what do you mean when I discovered Plantifish manimus?
Oh, yeah, when you found Plantifish Man.
Yes, I'll never forget when I first came upon it.
Oh, man.
You know,
No,
it's not
great.
normal to know that humans could fly back then, but apparently they had quite the wingspan.
That's great.
Some think it might be an angel.
How long ago did you find that?
15 years. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to wait a little while.
Some say my greatest discovery.
Yeah. Oh, God. You're an idiot.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would a person have a fish head? Did you ever ask yourself that?
Obviously, it was a tadpole, man. We've been very clear. I've had plenty of time to think about it.
Why do you think I called them Tatty?
Why do you think I called them tatties?
At the end of 1872, Marsh talked a fossil hunter into sending him a collection of bones that were promised to Cope.
So he's really, okay.
He's a fucking asshole.
Really doing the undercut game.
And some of these bones turned out to be an amazing specimen of a bird that had teeth. Marsh named it...
Teethius birdicus.
Yes.
That's what I thought it was.
Ichthyornis.
Ichthyornis.
It was considered to be an important link between birds and dinosaurs. Cope had no idea of this deception, and he was still a pretty nice guy, Cope. At the end of the day, a couple of months later, Cope returned a box of fossils to Marsh that had been sent to him by mistake.
Oh, wow.
So
that
Marsh is in the middle of
saddest.
like a one-man battle. And Cope's like, here's some things you left.
Sorry, I mean, I don't want to undercut you. Here are your bones that accidentally came to me.
I like you.
And I like you.
Okay.
All right.
You like some flowers?
No, but you got a lot of bones in here, huh?
Don't worry about it. Just mind your business.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Turn your head.
Tell me to turn my head. I'll go when I'm ready.
Turn your head.
Tell me to turn my head. I'll turn my head when I'm ready.
Oh, there's bones over there.
Where? Ah, son of a bitch.
But before he sent the box back to Marsh, he took a look at the specimen. After Marsh got the box, he wrote to Cope, I am glad you fully appreciated my bird with teeth. The Kansas fossil you sent me came all right. Where are the rest? And how about those from Wyoming? The information I received made me very angry. I should have gone for you, not with pistols or fists, but in print. I came very near to publishing this with some of your other transgressions. I was never so angry in my life. So dude sent him a box of bones.
That's not a thank you.
And then was like, hey, you've been all up in my shit, bro. All those bones in the west. Any bones west of the Mississippi are my bones.
See, that's one of those things where, like, you shouldn't even give him that box of bones because it's give an inch, take a mile. He's the kind of guy who's going to be like... Which reminds me, you owe me more.
Which reminds me of all the other bones.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that time when I invited you down to my place in Jersey and you just stole the bones?
Oh, here we go.
Different thing.
Here we go. We were kids. We were kids then. Good God.
Cope came home at the end of 1872. He had been out west in the field for 6 months. He was now exhausted and broke.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard.
Well, look, it's hard out there for a bone digger.
Cope and Marsh sent a series of angry letters back and forth. Cope kept cranking out the papers, describing his finds, while Marsh slowly and methodically wrote his. So he put out only a few papers that year comparatively to Cope.
Yeah, but he's writing things that are good, right? I mean, he's like
Marsh is writing, sort of like legitimate,
right?
He's cranking out legitimate shit, whereas Cope is just like doodling on a paper.
Yeah.
At one point, Cope sent out a telegram naming a large rhinoceros-like creature with 3 blunt horns and tusks he called Eobacilius.
Okay.
So, a telegram.
Uh-huh.
So he telegrammed the discovery of a dinosaur.
Wow, so he's really moving. Time is money. Was it a singing telegram?
Marsh couldn't take it. He had found the exact same fossils, but had not published his paper yet, and Cope was now tossing out telegrams. So Marsh published a paper in the scientific journal American Naturalist in which he described a new order of mammals called Dinocerata. And he said he found something called a Dinosaurus, a large mammal also with 3 horns and tusk-like teeth. Now the same creature had 2 names.
Okay.
But then it turned out Joseph Leidy had named a similar animal Unitherium before Marsh and
His
Cope.
name's terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
And it sounds like an element.
Unitherium. And he had named it before Marsh and Cope. So Marsh's paper attacked Cope's Erebicilius, pointing out 6 errors in Cope's description. He went on to call it a mythical beast, more appropriate for the Arabian Nights instead of the records of science.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Marsh whipped this all out, even though he had not seen Cope's work.
Okay.
So he
You gotta love
read
him.
the telegram.
Yeah.
And then went bug fuck.
Yeah.
And was like, no, I found this and yours is wrong.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't, he can't tell.
So things are going fine.
Yeah. They're not losing their shit at all.
No.
Cope was humiliated, and there was nothing he could do to stop Marsh's attacks on his newfound creature. But he did publish a new plan of classification for the beasts, saying that Marsh's names were wrong and his were right.
There we go. Boom.
Marsh would not back down and kept claiming that Cope's was wrong. He then went even further, insisting that Cope's science was shoddy. But none of it mattered because in the end, Leidy's Unitherium had won.
Oh,
So
it won.
Yeah, because it was first.
Right, okay.
It goes by whoever's first.
So those other 2 guys are like, no, yours is worse.
Actually, Marsh ended up losing because Cope's Ebocilius still exists as a species 8 to 10 million years younger than Leidy and Marsh's. So today, both animals belong in the order of Dinocerata. So Marsh was second to Leidy.
Right, and then Cope was the odd man out.
Well, no,
Cope's only got it in.
Cope had something that was 10 years younger,
Right.
10 million years younger, so he actually...
Gets one too.
Woo!
Lucky.
But the whole thing was a public shit show, and scientists were appalled by the 2 men's behavior as they tried to attack one another.
Yeah, because that's normally not the idea with science.
No, it doesn't seem like it is. The one man who was most disgusted by it all was Leidy, who ended up leaving the field for good.
Wow.
He couldn't take it anymore.
He's like, you guys...
If this is what paleontology has become, I do not want any of it.
Get out. Who needs you?
Good God.
Get out. Get out.
You're not a scientist.
You're not a scientist. Get out.
Scientists don't repeat what people say.
Scientists don't repeat what people say.
Okay. Fuck. But the competition between Marsh and Cope continued. In 1873, Marsh took a group of Yale students west. To experience the joy of being with him, the great Marsh, on a journey, they had to pay $15,000 each.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Today, that would be $200,000.
Holy shit. Wow.
He's a piece of garbage.
Holy shit.
This excursion would prove to be Marsh's last.
Well, he had fuck you money after it.
For the rest of the Bone Wars, Marsh preferred to enlist the services of local collectors and fossil hunters. Though he had enough bones to study for years, the scientists' appetite for more would grow. While Cope had to tag along in government surveys, Marsh would collect whatever he wanted and bought fossil hunters to collect for him.
Okay.
So he just fucking sent dudes out everywhere. The two continued to bicker in scientific journals throughout 1873, trying to block each other's work and beat the other to naming rights. Always the best thing for science.
Yeah, no, that's how you know their heart's in the right place.
So now they both turned their attention to the Badlands of South Dakota, where the discovery of gold in the Black Hills had increased Native American tensions with the U.S. Marsh went with General Custer's army into the Badlands.
Oh, boy.
Custer was in charge of dealing with the Native American situation in the area.
Oh,
That's
boy.
a different story that turns out great.
Okay, I must be thinking of a different Custer.
Custer wins. He's like the big,
Right.
huge American hero
Right.
To gain the trust of Chief Red Cloud of the Sioux and to convince him he was there for bones, not gold, Marsh promised Red Cloud payment for all fossils collected.
Okay.
Marsh also said he would return to Washington, D.C. and lobby for the Sioux and against their terrible treatment. Marsh was called Big Bone Chief and Bone Medicine Man by the Sioux.
Big Bone Chief is a pretty dope name. If you're like rolling into like the Sioux tribe and they're like, "You are Big Bone Chief."
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
am.
fuck
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Fuck
tell the
yeah.
women. Tell the
Yeah,
women
let
Big Bone
ladies
Chief is
know.
here.
Big Bone Chief is
Let them know.
right here.
I will be visiting wigwams at sundown.
Yeah. Boner Chief coming through.
Easy. Let's not press it. Okay. All
girl.
right. Rubbing your leg a lot, which is, oh boy.
Hey, girl.
Okay. Let's have a changing of the nickname ceremony.
In the end, Marsh had to quickly load 2 tons of fossils and rush off before a hostile, this is a tough tribe name, Miniconjo War party arrived to attack the Sioux and anyone who was with him. So he's fucking just, again,
Load the bones.
shoveling bones on a
Move. Careful there, careful. Really load them fast, though.
But Marsh did advocate for
I mean,
the
how
Sioux.
do you quickly load
I don't know.
load
You throw
bones?
them in a cart, and I imagine there's an old miner on a horse, and he's like, come on,
They're coming. I can see 'em right now. They're coming right at you.
go.
There's bones up in them mountains, I tell you. Bones.
But Marsh did advocate for the Sioux in Washington. He said they were of a, quote, higher order of intellect and that they were being ripped off by corrupt government agents. So
Well,
he did actually
say the exact right thing.
In 1875, Cope and Marsh both took a break from looking for fossils due to financial strain and because they needed to catalog everything they had found. But
So in
shit was
reality-
about to change big time.
But so in reality, like, they're not even making money. Like, they're not making money hand over fist. They're just sort of like, are they just not making money because they're competing too much against each other?
No, I think they're spending too much money going on expeditions and
But
paying
that's
guys
kind of-
for fossils.
But that's because they're competing in a way, right?
Yeah, like they are losing money because they're trying to.
They're not logging anything. They're right.
They're trying to outbid the other guy
Right.
and outfox the other guy.
Yeah,
So
outfossil.
they're not being prudent with their cash and
Right.
Up until this point, paleontologists like Cope and Marsh were just looking for prehistoric mammals. Mm-hmm. They were trying to prove the theory of evolution through bones. One Darwinist scientist visited Marsh in 1876 and was amazed to see that Marsh had proven evolution with his collection of horse fossils. One thing they weren't after were dinosaurs. The term dinosaur, or, quote, fearfully great lizard, was coined in 1842 by Richard Owen.
Okay.
Up until that point, there had only been a few fossils discovered. Of Marsh's 19 papers, only 2 were on dinosaurs.
Wow.
It's all just mammal shit.
Okay.
In 1877, a mining teacher and preacher named Arthur Lakes discovered enormous fossils in 200 million year old rocks in Colorado. They were far larger than anything that had ever been found previously. They were so large that they were originally thought to be whale bones.
Which, I mean,
Right?
well, which, like, in this day and age, you could say is like a possibility because of, like the way land's formed. But back then, they would be like, how did a whale get in the mountain?
God damn, a big bird must have picked it up. No. What about?
All right. Okay. Can I stop everyone and give you a theory?
Yep.
I call it land whaling.
Oh.
These were whales with feet.
Nope.
Webbed.
Nope, you're out of your fucking shit brain.
Can I make one more point
Yep.
on my whale?
Go ahead.
My whales that walked?
Yep.
Their heads were in their asses.
Okay.
I'm done.
Who else
I am
who
done.
else has ideas? So after Lake's discovery, he wrote letters to Marsh about the gigantic bones.
Right.
He's like, dude, I got big bones.
Did. Big bones.
Big bones. Marsh did not reply to the letters.
Wow. He sent them to spam, huh?
Lake was looking for money, so he turned to Cope. And Cope was all over that shit.
Oh,
He
Marsh.
paid
Marsh.
to have the fossils sent to him.
Marsh, you don't pass on this player in the draft.
But then Marsh found out that Cope was going to get the bones, and he sent $100 to Lakes to get his hands on the bones that Cope had not yet paid for.
Okay.
Marsh then sent one of his field collectors to pay Lakes even more money for all the bones he dug up.
So Marsh is getting the bones,
Yeah.
even though he was a prick.
The field collector wrote to Marsh using the codename Jones for Cope.
It's not a good code. That's just like another person's name. It's not like you're not covering anything.
Satisfactory arrangement made for 2 months. Jones cannot interfere.
Okay.
Lakes shipped many bones back east to Marsh. Then the field collector talked Lake into going back on his agreement with Cope. Lakes wrote Cope and forced him to send the bones he had received from Lakes to Marsh.
Wait, I'm confused. Wasn't Marsh the one undercutting and getting the bones?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So Cope had already been sent a bunch of bones.
Oh, he already got some of the bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
but then when Marsh found out about it, then he was like, "Give me all the bones.
Yeah.
Keep sending
and
me
so
the bones."
He had
instead.
Lakes write to Cope and say, "Send all the fucking bones to Marsh," even though I already sent them to you.
Oh, okay.
So he's like the ultimate dick. He's the ultimate bone
Cope
dick.
is
There's no bigger bone dick in the world. It's just.
So Cope must want to fucking kill him.
Oh my god. The shipment included the first remains of a stegosaurus.
Wow.
Marsh had
That's an A-list. That's an A-list dinosaur right there.
Yeah, that's a big.
That's a Tommy Cruise.
Boys.
That's a you get right in. You cut through the line.
Damn right. Marsh had tons of bones sent to Yale, and the Como Bluff dig would turn out to have the biggest discoveries, hundreds of types of dinosaurs. They were 5 to 7 tons, 100 feet tall, and the size of 20 elephants. So he's just finding all these fucking...
So he really hit
the bone load.
Yeah, he really did. Easy. That's a... By the way, that's a porn I don't recommend anyone watch.
Yeah, bone load.
Hitting the bone load?
No, don't hit the bone load.
Don't hit the bone load.
Even though Cope had gone through the humiliating experience of sending the fossils to Marsh, so can you just imagine him packing up the boxes?
Oh, man.
And writing Marsh on there?
Oh, yeah. There was an incredible amount of feces on the bones.
Sorry.
You're sure that's from the earth?
Yep.
Because it seemed fresh and human.
Well, technically it's all from the earth. You know what I mean?
Fine.
You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
So, but Cope hadn't given up. He ended up securing bones found in Canyon County, Colorado. So he found more dinosaur bones close by.
Right.
Of course, these finds contained even bigger bones than the ones Marsh had snatched.
Okay, so now he's got the bigger bones?
Fucking on, baby!
This is Russia, and this is the Cold War of bones.
Totally. Cope found the tallest dinosaur ever discovered, Amphicelia. It was more than 130 feet tall.
Sure.
And of course, Cope wrote in his papers that his dinosaurs were bigger than Marsh's.
Hello, nana, under the column, nana, boo-boo.
Big Marsh. No, not Big Marsh. Big Cope.
Cope.
Marsh sent his field collector to spy on Cope, and he managed to get into Cope's fossil storeroom. The collector managed to weasel his way in with Cope's fossil hunter in Canyon City and got his hands on a smaller but very important bird-like dinosaur. And he made a deal for first refusal on any fossils Cope didn't want.
First, there's screenplays?
He sends a guy out there who rolls in and fucking snoops around and then goes to the guy digging up the bones. He's like, "Hey man, I'll give you more money for that fucking fossil right there."
You want
a little side cash? You want a little side cash?
But how? This is the Sopranos of bones.
It's fucking insane.
You don't know who. You just can't turn around without being fucked.
No, it's completely insane.
And it's from dinosaur bones.
But Cope isn't really doing anything except banging out papers.
Yeah,
he hasn't done shit.
Right, but he should be learning
to do shit.
Yeah, or to be a little bit more protective.
At this point, he should be more evil.
He should be so paranoid.
He should be paranoid, but he also should be like, "I'm gonna kill some motherfuckers."
Yeah, no, he really
I'm gonna kill motherfuckers.
Yes.
Where were we? Oops, this moved. Hold, please. Okay. In the end of 1877, Marsh had discovered a huge amount of dinosaurs, unlike anything the world had ever seen. Marsh announced the discovery of 6 new genera of dinosaurs, including the 50-foot-long Apatosaurus, the carnivorous Allosaurus, and the Stegosaurus. Meanwhile, Cope wrote 33 papers on fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mastodons, crocodiles, rhinos, as well as his colossal dinosaurs.
Okay.
This continued until 1878. Marsh named 10 new dinosaur species. Cope named 8. Cope was in the lead identifying dinosaurs, but Marsh was catching up quickly.
Okay.
They kept finding dinosaur fossils throughout 1879.
Jesus.
The rivalry was getting worse. Marsh had his men destroy a fossil pit at Como Bluff because he was worried Cope's man nearby would find it.
Okay, so
What?
now
they're blowing up bones.
Science is over now, right?
Yeah,
now it's not
science is over.
Yeah,
Just
make sure the other guy doesn't get any bones. That's the game.
because I love science.
Yeah, because we'll figure it out after.
I love science so much. I'm blowing up all of these fossils.
I mean, that really is like, how do you not like take a step back and be like, hold on, wait,
Hold on.
I'm no longer an archaeologist.
I might be getting a little myopic here.
I think I'm,
well, big picture.
Okay, let's think big picture.
Blow it up. Cope wasn't much different. When he finished excavating a site, he would have his assistants dynamite it, which would make it useless for finding fossils.
I mean,
so they're both blowing up their pits when they're done.
and if you work with them, you've got to be like, guys,
dude,
I'm here to learn about the bones.
I came out here to learn something.
Shut up. Get the dynamite down there.
Cope then came to Como Bluff and accused Marsh of trespassing and stealing his fossils.
What?
Which he had been.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Cope also had a train full of Marsh's fossils diverted to Philadelphia.
That's.
So now-
I mean, how do you even get that done?
Now Cope is fucking...
Yeah.
Well, you go down the railroad and you pull that lever.
Oh, I mean, God, those were the days. Those were the days.
But I like it. Now he's fighting back. He's
Yeah.
fucking standing up. Meanwhile, Marsh worked his Yale staff so hard and didn't pay them anything that he had huge turnover. And he took all the credit. So he's taking these dudes out. They're fucking digging up bones, and then he writes the paper in his name.
Yeah.
So
he's just a prick.
He's just a fucking prick.
Right.
Cope would then recruit the staff that had left.
He's like the fat Jew.
He's like the fat Jew. No one knows what you're talking
fat
about.
Jewish. Oh,
There's
nobody
a guy
knows.
on Twitter named the fat Jew, Instagram, and he steals comedians' jokes, and he got a huge book deal.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Follow him
Yeah, he's great.
to the depths of hell.
He's just a great thief. So Cope would then started to recruit the staff that quit.
Well, I mean,
He
what is
starts
the end
recruiting
game?
Marsh's staff, right?
So this is.
and he would work them for dirt on Marsh and his operations.
I mean, it's really weird.
It's fucking great. Marsh and Cope were running.
Don't you want to know about my resume? No, you said you worked for him.
No, you
That'll
worked
do.
for Marsh,
That'll
right?
do.
What's going on with his girlfriend?
Do you want to know about the bones?
What's going on with his lady?
Do you want to know about the bones? I know I haven't. I mean, I'm very.
Right. You think this key still works for his apartment?
Yeah.
And what's going on?
Bone wise?
No, is he wearing underpants?
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
Because they were pushing. Oh, wait. So Cope and Marsh are rushing to name the dinosaurs because in science, the first name that's the one that sticks.
That's, I mean, crazy.
Because they were pushing, they were basing descriptions of new species on sparse material.
Like it's like when you're like Exoxynotaurus.
That's a fingernail.
Fingernail Taurus.
Sometimes they mixed up bones from different animals or gave different names to the same animal.
What is so? They just don't give a fuck.
In 1877, Marsh speedily described a new species of a sauropod dinosaur that he named Apatosaurus. But he did not have anything close to a full skeleton. He only had some vertebrae and part of a pelvis.
I told you it's called Halfosaurus.
It's called Bitsosaurus.
It's called Bitsosaurus.
2 years later, Marsh quickly named and described another sauropod. This one he called Brontosaurus.
Okay.
The Brontosaurus was also based on just parts of a skeleton. Then, in 1883, more of the skeleton was dug up. He now had the full skeleton.
Okay. He's like, wow. I mean, the neck was a huge part of this.
Today, it is still one of the most complete, also based on incomplete. Wait, today is still one of the most complete dinosaur skeletons. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
Big
old neck.
In 1883, after more of the skeleton had been unearthed, he shit.
He shit?
No, I see what just happened. Today is one of the most complete sauropod skeletons known. But the problem was he was in such a hurry trying to beat Cope that he didn't notice the Brontosaurus and the Apatosaurus were the same species.
Oh, boy.
Due to scientific naming, the first name given a species supersedes all others.
Oh, no.
So Brontosaurus is no longer a valid scientific name.
What? Brontosaurus is like Pluto?
Dude fucked up one of the best dinosaur names on ever.
Brontosaurus is great.
No, it's not. It's not a dinosaur.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It'll always be Brontosaurus to me.
It's not. It
is too.
The Apatosaurus. Or
No,
whatever
it's the
it is.
Brontosaurus.
Yeah, Apatosaurus.
Apatosaurus.
Or a pat.
Apat?
That mistake was, of course, discovered by Cope.
Of course. Quite the editor.
Now, after all those years, Cope had found Marsh making the exact type of mistake Cope had made that left him open to Marsh's ridicule so many years ago when he put the skull on the tail.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, paleontologists only conclusively showed that the name was wrong and that Brontosaurus did not exist in 1979.
Oh, shit. Well, were they still alive? I told you, fuck.
I knew it!
I told you, I'm gonna let you fuck.
Museum exhibits around the world had to be changed.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So they don't even say Brontosaurus
No,
anymore?
no one says Brontosaurus.
Oh,
They're
I've been
not-
saying it for years.
Well, it's not real.
Yeah.
Marsh kept piling it on. He next took Cope's first find, Laylaps,
Laylaps.
a.k.a. the eagle-clawed terrible leaper, and renamed it Dryptosaurus.
Dryptosaurus? Dryptosaurus?
Dryptosaurus?
Dryptosaurus.
D-R-Y-P.
Dryptosaurus.
Dryptosaurus. So he just renamed the dinosaur.
That's fun.
You know what? Welcome to the game, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, they are essentially like a dinosaur. You know, it's like a cat. You can just change its name. Nobody's going to give a shit.
He did this in a footnote in a paper he was writing about another dinosaur.
Well, that's a little subversive, isn't it?
He said that the Laylaps...
Oh, by the way, that name's changed.
He's not a thing anymore.
Anywho's.
It's like he's so mad that Cope noticed that the Brontosaurus doesn't exist.
Right.
And he knew he was fucked.
Yeah.
That now he's just trying to do the same thing, but it's such a pathetic
Right.
and lame attempt.
So you do it. Release that news on Saturday.
Oh, fuck. Marsh said that the Laylaps had already been used as a name, so it had to be replaced. Very soon after, Marsh had named a new discovery, Titanosaurus. Then Cope pointed out that name had already been used. Marsh was forced to rename the dinosaur.
Titan. How do you not know?
Just screaming in his office.
But how
Just
does it-
throwing shit on the wall? Motherfucker!
Titanosaurus? How do you not know that's used?
Yeah, that's one of the first.
How do you not run a vet on that?
Cope and Marsh were rushing things so fast, they were filling up their literature with mistakes. Marsh's Morosaurus was really Cope's Camarasaurus, and Cope's Hypserhoppus was Marsh's Stegosaurus.
I mean, these guys don't give a shit.
They're out of their fucking minds.
Yeah.
It's like dudes on meth finding
right.
bones.
Yeah, right.
Many of their finds were not uniquely different from each other, and Cope and Marsh actually knew that some of the fossils they found had already been discovered by other people. And it turns out the guy who cranked out the most names as fast as he could made the most mistakes. It is estimated that there were 20 names for every actual species found.
What?
To say Cope blew it would be an understatement.
20 names?
For every 20 names, one was an actual species.
But still, that's insane.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible rate.
I mean, that's
Well, when you're writing them on telegrams.
But you can't. I mean, that's still impressive.
That he named that many
To be that
not
off.
real. That he named that many not real
It's still,
dinosaurs.
no matter how shitty you are at this, that's still pretty off.
Oh no, he should get an award for that.
I mean, yeah.
To ensure that his work got recognized, Cope bought the American Naturalist Journal in 1877.
Oh, cool. So he's
got his
Rupert Murdoch.
He's got his own scientific journal.
Perfect.
Between 1879 and 1880, Cope published 76 academic papers.
Ugh, I mean, they must have just been dog shit.
I mean, that is... I mean, depending how many years that is, because it could be 24 months.
Yeah.
But it
still.
also could be less. It could be like...
Still.
It could be like, you know...
Come on.
18,
Yeah.
maybe? So let's say
I mean, he's like the Black Keys of scientific dinosaur articles.
So he pushed out 76 papers.
Dude,
in like 18
come on.
months.
I mean,
Over
it could
his
be
life,
bad.
he wrote 1,400 articles. In just a few years, the number of known dinosaur species jumped from a small handful to more than 100, but many of them weren't real. By the
Fakeosaurus.
Fakeosaurus is a great one. Not realosaurus. By 1880s, Marsh had pretty much had it. He wanted to put Cope out of business. Marsh had connections in Washington, and he started to use them. He got himself appointed as chief paleontologist of the newly created U.S. Geological Survey. And he got himself elected as head of the National Academy of Science.
Okay.
Being an amateur, Cope was not considered for either post.
Okay.
Now, Marsh had an institutional support, and he had unlimited funds, federal funds, right?
Right. So why not do the prudent thing and try to shut Cope down?
He then began cutting Cope off from government funding that he had been getting for years. By 1886, Marsh had a budget of $500,000 and even more money from Yale. He pushed and succeeded in having the nation's paleontology center from Philadelphia to New Haven.
Wow. I mean, that's a big fuck you.
There were now tons of fossils with Marsh at the Peabody Museum. The problem was that he was slow and methodical, and so most of them were just sitting around waiting to be looked at.
Ugh, good. In the name of science, we'll delay everything.
While Marsh was becoming top shit, Cope was spitting out. His influence was dwindling, having been cut off from federal dollars. His inheritance was almost gone. He invested in a silver mine in New Mexico to try to turn his fortune around.
My guess is it doesn't work.
But that turned out to be a bad idea, and he lost everything he had.
Ugh.
He then applied for jobs at Princeton, the Philadelphia Zoo, and many other places, with no success.
The zoo won't take him?
Zoo wouldn't take him. He sold his house.
Oh, God.
By 1890, his wife had left with their child, and he was living in a small apartment in Philadelphia.
Oh, God.
All he had were his fossils.
Oh, God.
Just a dude in a little apartment surrounded by bones.
Oh, he definitely Wilsoned the bones.
Marsh wasn't done.
What? He won. Leave him alone.
No, what does Cope have?
I mean, I don't think he has, pardon the pun, a coping mechanism.
But what does he have?
He has bones.
Okay.
Leave him his bones.
Using his position, Marsh got a law passed that said all fossils collected with the help of government funding now belong to the Smithsonian.
Why doesn't he just say everything that Cope has, I get? Why doesn't he just make that law? That's the bill.
And just to dig the boot in, he had a clause put in that said...
I can fuck Cope's wife.
Who he's not even with anymore.
Yeah.
He had a clause put in that said this included scientists who had accompanied government expeditions at their own expense.
Oh, I mean, Cope.
So if you just went out on your own... and
Those are mine.
That exactly described Cope. Now he was trying to get his hands on the last thing Cope had left, his fossils. Cope fought it and came up with receipts and documents that proved he had paid for almost all of his collection out of his own pocket. Cope then went apeshit at Marsh's attempt to steal the fossils.
Oh, boy.
Like, he had him backed into a corner.
Yeah.
He had him dead.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went after the one thing
you don't
go
dude,
after.
You don't do that.
You don't go. Dude lost everything. Dude lost his house. He lost his job.
You leave him.
He lost his family.
Yeah.
But you don't come after my bones.
Yeah.
Because now it's personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The audience stands up and applauds. Cope had been collecting dirt on Marsh for years.
Oh, shit.
He had records of nefarious, underhanded dealings and accusations of not following scientific standards.
Oh, boy.
He called these records the Marshania.
Again, naming is not a strong suit for either one of these gentlemen.
The Marsh Bomb.
Yeah, but way better. Yeah. Yeah.
Marshania.
The fuck marshes.
That's a party.
Yeah.
That's a party
it's
for
an alien
Marsh.
party.
It's a party for Marsh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not what you want it to
For
sound
aliens.
like.
Did you say aliens?
Yeah, it sounds like Martian.
Oh.
Settle down, baby.
Well, that would
I
be a
got you.
party for Martians.
Oh, God. Dave,
Specific
don't.
alien.
Don't fucking marsh me. I'm Cope.
Cope got a job offer, finally,
At Blockbuster.
from somewhere. University of Pennsylvania gave him a teaching position.
Was he just getting pranked by Marsh?
Well, he took it. And then his chance to take down Marsh came in the form of a shoddy reporter. Cope took the information that he had to a freelance journalist at the New York Herald. The journalist didn't mind making stuff up and was happy to not check sources.
Cool.
On January 12th, 1890, the paper published a story with the headline, "Scientists Wage Bitter Warfare."
Okay.
This is from the paper. For some time past, a volcano has been slumbering under the Geological Survey. Now
Sorry.
it has... Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So the beginning's tough.
I'm sorry. Let me read that again. For some time past, a volcano has been slumbering under the Geological Survey.
Better.
I read that wrong.
Yes,
didn't I?
this is better.
Very tired.
It's okay. I'm here for you.
Now
you
it
put
has
your head on my shoulder?
Nope. Now it has arrived, and the long pent-up forces have gained their freedom with a rush and a roar, which, if it does not carry the present management of the survey to its official destruction, will certainly disturb the entire scientific world of America and bring in its train a series of changes and counter-changes, recriminations and reproaches which will ring from one end of the land to the other. So the paper's saying this shit's going to blow it all.
Yeah.
The article accused the USGS of being a powerful and poorly organized machine that was being used by Marsh to gain favors of money and prestige. It also said Marsh was destroying fossils out west to stop other researchers from getting them, and then he had assistants writing his papers and not giving them credit.
All true, right?
Yeah. Marsh came across like a villain and a plagiarist. Cope had gone public with his resentments and brought other scientists in as witnesses to the corruption in the article. So
Okay.
Cope went out and named names of people who didn't like Marsh and
Right.
dragged other dudes in. The scientists in the fields of geology and paleontology were not thrilled when they found themselves quoted and mentioned in the article.
I wonder why.
Marsh defended by attacking Cope in his own articles,
Oh, God.
saying Cope was a lying jealous and brought up the time Cope put the skull on the wrong end of the tail.
Man. Fuck, does he regret that shit? He's like, God damn that fucking head! One time!
You know what? Curious George did it, and it was fine.
It was fine.
They made a whole episode out of it that people enjoy.
Okay.
The fight between two fossil experts hit the national papers and lasted for 3 weeks.
Wow.
The Philadelphia Inquirer said Cope was going to lose his job at the University of Pennsylvania unless he could prove his accusations. And there was a response. The USGS was already in the crosshairs of some politicians due to their policies, particularly out west, due to concerns about takeovers and abandoned homesteads. In 1892, those politicians used the accusations of Cope to start an inquiry into the entire USGS.
Oh, my God. They're going to shut down his baby.
These people were concerned that America was paying more for science than any other country in the world. This is probably the last time anyone in America had that fear, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Congressional Democrat Hillary Herbert went after Marsh for publishing expensive books and funding long expeditions. He was most upset about a book Marsh had published called Birds with Teeth.
Fuck you, Cope.
This just happened to be Marsh's greatest achievement in proving evolution. What are we doing financing books about birds with teeth?
Oh, shit.
Birds with teeth became a phrase for those opposed to scientific research funding.
Oh, God. Global warming.
It's totally
Versus climate change.
It's the fucking evolution. It's the same fucking people.
Yeah.
It's the same people.
The best. Good thing we've evolved.
No,
I think we might be proving Darwin wrong currently,
we totally
based
are.
on this dollop.
The USGS budget was cut in half, and the Department of Paleontology was dissolved.
Okay.
Marsh was ordered to resign via a telegram from the head of the USGS.
I hope it was a singing telegram again.
So now it's like former buddy is sending him a telegram.
Yeah.
Going, fuck off.
But it's singing, Dave. Fuck off.
Now Marsh had lost his position and along with it his salary. Those were the ways he funded his work, so he was forced to sell his house to fund his own research.
Oh, I bet. I think I know who he hates.
Many of his allies in science were retiring or had died. Under the rules Marsh had created, the USGS had a right to all fossils gained through government-funded activities.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Marsh had not done his record keeping properly. Cope had, and his strict bookkeeping kept Marsh from snatching his fossils. But in an exciting and wonderful example of irony, Marsh lost more than 80 tons of his bones because of the rule that he had created to strip Cope of his fossils.
Dummy. What a dumbosaurus.
Fuck you, no fuck me. Oh, wait.
I love that. That's great.
It was just a small fraction of his collection, but still a painful loss to a man like Marsh.
That's a small fraction?
These guys they were like the Bone Kings. They're like De Beers. They just have all the fucking bones.
Jesus.
So, anyway, now Marsh is screwed.
Yeah.
As Marsh sunk down, Cope rose up. He got a position on the Texas Geological Survey and kept quiet about Marsh's collapse. He had learned from the previous public fight. He was next promoted to professor of zoology, the former position of Leedy. So now he's got his mentor's position. And for the cherry on top, he was elected president of the National Association for the Advancement of Science.
Oh, shit. Marsh must have been pissed.
In the exact year, Marsh stepped down as head of the Academy of Sciences.
That's spicy.
Though Cope's fortunes would fall again as he became ill. He slowly lost his positions, and he was forced to sell some of his fossil collection just to get by. Marsh was not better off. Marsh had to ask Yale for a salary just to survive.
Dave, I hope that they end up as roommates. God. With nowhere else to turn, Marsh and Cope got a one-bedroom apartment.
Do you want to get dinner? Sure. We'll take the chicken. Do you want bone in or bone? No bone!
Wishbone.
No bone.
No bones.
Yeah, just them fighting over wishbone at the end.
Yeah.
Impoverished and suffering from kidney disease, Cope was now self-treating with morphine. He received a surprise call from an artist named Charles Knight. Knight wanted to recreate dinosaurs as they had looked when they were alive, and Cope's amazing imagination seemed the best place to start. Together, Cope and Knight put flesh on the bones of the dinosaurs in illustrations.
Whoa.
Knight's drawings would later influence Arthur Conan Doyle's 1912 novel, The Lost World, the first dinosaur novel. So, of course, it takes a guy with a great imagination to bring them to life and to tell people what they look like.
Yes.
Although now people are like, yeah, that's not really what they look like.
Come on. We don't need to hear that.
Difference.
Come on. It's too late.
Cope died in April 1897, still hiding notebooks under his bed to keep them from Marsh.
I mean, the odds that Marsh tried to get Cope's bones are strong. And he pieced them together with an ass head.
Hold on.
Oh, God.
Cope was 56 years old, but he wasn't done with Marsh. He had his skull donated to science so his brain could be measured. His hope was that his brain would be proven to be larger than Marsh's brain.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean...
Because back then they thought the bigger brain meant smarter, so...
Who cares what they... I mean, that is...
That's fucking great.
He should have also had his balls compared, because... talk about a callback.
Marsh did not accept the brain offer.
What?
Cope's skull is still at the University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, my God.
2 years after Cope's death, Marsh walked home on a rainy night and came down with pneumonia. He died 2 weeks later at the age of 68. He had $186 in his bank account.
How many bones, though?
A lot.
Yeah, okay.
According to the stats, Marsh won the Bone Wars. Both Cope and Marsh made significant scientific finds, but Cope found a total of 56 new species and Marsh 80. Marsh was responsible for naming the most dinosaurs ever found. He named the Apatosaurus, Brontosaurus, the Stegosaurus, the Allosaurus, the Diplodocus, the Triceratops, and many more. He had the advantage because later in his career, he had the money and manpower to do what he wanted, obviously until that quickly came to an end.
Yes.
The feud between Cope and Marsh both helped and hurt paleontology. The Bone Wars also had a negative impact on the entire field. The public fight between Cope and Marsh harmed the reputation of American paleontology in Europe for decades.
It's amazing to think that they were thought of as like disagreeable people.
Right?
Yeah, because now you think of them, they're like, oh, this is a nice bone. Let's help each other.
Jesus.
We'll piece it together.
Many fossils were destroyed by the two men as they tried to keep specimens out of each other's hands.
We're probably missing dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, we probably are. When they started their work, only 18 dinosaur species were known to be from North America, and those were just pieces and parts like a vertebrae or a jaw. The two men found over 130 species of dinosaur because they were trying to outdo each other. They also found tons of other prehistoric mammals like fish, reptiles, and birds. When Cope and Marsh died, they both left behind massive fossil collections. Their collections are now in museums and still are a great source of data for paleontologists. In 2013, HBO announced plans for a Bone Wars movie to star Steve Carell and James Gandolfini.
Oh, what the fuck? It really was The Sopranos.
So that's not happening.
The Sabonos.
So that
Wow.
that burned out.
Why? That's crazy.
Yeah. It should be a TV series, not a movie.
It should
That's
be
a TV
anything.
series. That's a fucking 7-year TV series.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Yeah. They're like bootleggers.
There's not enough a movie couldn't cover what that movie has.
The expansiveness
that
of
story.
what, yeah.
Yeah, no, it just goes on forever and it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
It escalates and it just keeps building and there's no way a movie could do it justice.
You saying that's why Gandolfini died?
I'm saying it might be, yeah. That's the point of the whole fucking story, man.
Good work, dude.
Thanks, Liam.
Something to think about. Maybe we can. No, I guess we can't make it anymore.
What, the movie, the Gandolfini?
Yeah.
We can dig him up. He can be bones in the movie. He can just be a skeleton.
I'm going to back off this whole thing. It's taking a dark turn.
You think he's still doing blow?
All right. We want to thank everybody for tuning into this Dollop.
You can send us suggestions for future Dollops at
Twitter.
the Dollop podcast at gmail.com. Do not send them to Twitter. You can just say hi on Twitter at the Dollop. You can use our... If you're shopping this Christmas season, you can use our Amazon affiliate link, which you can find on the Facebook page. It's right up at the top there, right underneath the picture, where it usually says photo and other stuff. I managed to
sneak it up there.
What do you call it? Hack Facebook or whatever.
Sure, hacked Facebook. You want to be claiming that.
So it's right there.
With the help of Anonymous, we now have that button under the picture.
And then we're also I'm on Instagram. Does that help?
I'm
Gareth's
also
on Instagram. If you want to see photos.
Yeah, if you want to see Jose, go to
And a
Instagram.
lot of people are asking about Jose. If you want to see Jose the cat, he has pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon. Also, if you want to donate to the show, that's fucking awesome.
iTunes, rate it. Leave comments,
please
subscribe.
Please go to iTunes and
Tell your
rate
friends, tell them to do the same.
If you want to shop for Christmas, you can go to Astoy Merchandise and look up the Dollop. And we have T-shirts and other
goodies,
posters and shit there. You can go to Redbubble and look up James Fosdyke's The Dollop page, and there you can have Dollop drawings that James did turn into anything, fucking cups and hoodies and just a million things. Tattoos. You can have a tattoo on your face.
Stained glass windows.
Stained glass windows are one of our top sellers.
Yeah. Hang gliders, kites, anything like that.
A base.
Yeah, pool covers.
Get a base. Pool covers are big. Vans,
magic eye paintings,
masks,
Bibles. Anyway, anything.
African masks.
Anything. Yeah, anything.
Yeah, so that's there.
Thanks.
Thank you. We still care about you.
Care about you. Love you. Bye. Thanks.
Bye, girl.
We did it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's Gareth. Not Gary, stop it. Gare Force, listen, I've got a bunch of stand-up shows coming up, and I want to see you there. We can hug. I will be at Rooster Teeth Feathers in Sunnyvale, California, April 18th, 19th, and 20th. Then I will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, June 18th. I will be at Nashville, at Zanies, June 19th. I will be in Huntsville, Alabama, June 20th. I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, June 21st, June 22nd. Then I will be in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, June 26th. Then I'll be in East Providence, Rhode Island, June 27th. Then I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts, and Boston, June 28th. That's 2 shows. I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts, June 29th, Rochester, New York, June 30th, and then July 5th through the 6th, Canada. I've heard your prayers, and I will answer them. I will be in Toronto. So come join me at the Comedy Bar. Go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information. That's right, Gareth Force. We're calling you up. It's the big time. The big leagues. This went poorly.
There's few things more important than community, and as a local and family-owned business, we at Applewood pride ourselves on delivering exceptional plumbing, heating, and electrical services to the people of Denver, Boulder, and Longmont. Our team of licensed and certified professionals will tackle any home comfort issues you may have, as we always have for 50 years. Because when you choose Applewood, you're investing back into your community. Applewood Plumbing, Heating, and Electric. Locally owned, serving Colorado homeowners for 50 years.